honestly, I'm an optimistic type person, but I really think this is going to be much worse than most people have faced. I mean, let's look at a few numbers. If you're old enough to remember, maybe some of your listeners are, in the 70s, there was stagflation. There were 2.2 million people unemployed. In 1980 or so, we had a Fed crisis, 2.5 million unemployed. 82, we had the double dip of the recession, 2.7 million unemployed. In the early 90s, 2 million, 1.9 in the dot-com bust. And in 2009, only about 2.6 or 2.8 million unemployed. My friend, we just had 10 times that in a few weeks claim unemployment. This is going to be a ripple effect that I believe is going to devastate nations, economies, and real estate is certainly not exempt. And I could go through the math on an apartment complex that I did last night if we have time. But I'll tell you, there's varying degrees. If you look at an X and Y axis, across the X axis, imagine the economic sensitivity in general of these different asset classes. Like take cell towers. They're virtually not affected by the economy. Sure they are. I mean, in '01, I remember a cell tower project I was part of that got shut down. But overall, the income from cell towers, it's in the same range year in and year out. But on the other hand, you've got other things like hotels. They're significantly impacted, and they're impacted by COVID on the y-axis, and the economy in general on the x. And so, the founder of Marriott said this is worse than the Great Depression. I think he said worse than 9/11 and 2009 combined, and they survived the Great Depression, but this is a whole new animal.
Hmm.
So you've got things like senior housing, strip centers, malls, things that often already were overbuilt or had significant headwinds against them that are just going to be ramped up by this. I mean, you got J.C. Penney and Neiman Marcus possibly following Sears into bankruptcy, and you've got Kmart stores shuttered all over the nation. Well, that's just going to increase. There were 12,000 retail outlets closed down in 2019 in a phenomenal economy. I think that's just going to heighten now. I think there's some other things like student housing, senior housing, things like that, that generally are going to rebound pretty quickly, though. What do you think?
Well,